Welcome to the table. My name is Max, and today I want to talk to you about how I don't really play my games all that often. There's recently been a thing going around the internet, what 5 movies or what 5 games do you know you've seen or played at least 10 times? Are you confident that you've played these games 10 times or more? And I started thinking about that, and genuinely, I barely have an answer. I can't think of more than a few games that I've played more than 10 times, at least confidently. I'm confident I've played Gloomhaven at least 10 times because I know how far along we are in the story. I'm confident I've played Azul 10 times and Coup 10 times, and probably more of those short card games because, you play them 4 times in a night or something like that. But in general, I don't know many more games than this that I've played 10 times, or for that matter, movies. I can't think of a single movie I've watched more than 10 times, to be honest with you. I kind of feel like that's a problem, and at the same time I don't, and I'm not sure which way I should feel about this. If you look at my top 10, which I just did a top 20 video with Doolin fairly recently, I had, Cthulhu Death May Die, which I think I'm at 10 plays exactly or 9 plays exactly, so I didn't want to put that there just in case I was off. At number 1, followed by Gloomhaven, and then I think Kingdom Death, and then Spirit Island, and, a few others that were in there, and Kingdom Death, I don't think I've played 10 times. Probably close to it. Probably very close to it, but I don't think I've actually hit 10. Spirit Island, I know I've not hit 10. I think I'm at 4 or 5 on there. Many, in fact, if not most, I don't have the list pulled up in front of me right now of my top 10, but most of those I'd say I've played 5 or less times. Nemesis, I've played 3 times. That wasn't in my top 20. Biblios was in my top 20, or it was in my top 20, not my top 10. Biblios is in my top 20. I think I've played that 4 times. You've got, I don't know, things like Root. I love Root. It's in my top 10. I think it was my number 6. I have played that game exactly 4 or 5 times. I don't know off the top of my head, but I don't play even my very favorite games over 10 times. And that kind of sucks. I understand it, right? I've been into this hobby for not that long, a little over 2 years at this point in time. I play new games more than I play repeated plays of my favorites. I try and play new ones that I can talk about because I don't want to get too far out of the out of the sphere. I don't want to be so far gone that these people are playing games that I've never heard of and blah blah blah. I mean, I'm already there, but I need to do what I can to stay somewhat afloat. And I just don't play that many games in general, as much as I love board games, and it is my favorite hobby. I play more than many. I don't want to compare myself to you. I may play many more games than you. You may play way more games than me. I don't know. I play more than the average person, of course. But in comparison to many people I see, and again, I'm not comparing, it's great, I wish I was that way, but with a family of 3, with a full-time job, stuff like that, or family of 5, 3 children, it's just, I don't play that often. I took 6 games to the lake this weekend. I learned one of them solo, two-handed by myself. That was it. The rest didn't even come out of the box. I just don't, I have this strong desire to play games, and it doesn't always come to fruition, which is okay. Given my certain circumstances and my situation, I think I play games enough. I'm perfectly happy with the amount that I currently play. Of course, I'd want to play more. I would love to play a game every night, multiple games, 5 games a week, something like that. I probably play, there's some weeks where I don't play any and some weeks where I play 10, so it's hard to say. But I'd say on average, maybe a game or 2 a week is how much I typically play board games. And for my very favorite games, like Spirit Island, I've only played that game 4 times, and it's in my top 5. Does it belong? I don't know. I'm not certain. I think so, because especially in my circumstance, it's not that regular of an occurrence to play, especially the bigger games. I played Gloomhaven literally 3 nights a week for 2 months or something like that, and then have not returned. I've not played Gloomhaven in a year and a half. I've not played Kingdom Death Monster in a year and a half. I've not played Spirit Island in a year and a half. Some of my favorite games I've never played, and I feel like I'm lesser because of it. Should I even include these that I haven't played in a year and a half in my top 5 favorite games of all time, 2021 edition? But I haven't played it since 2019. Is that even fair? Is that right? I don't know. Are there those games that you are confident that you've played 10 or more times and that you continue to come back to? Are there many of those? Am I an outlier in the sense that I only have a handful of games that I've played more than 10 times? Or is that kind of the average gamer experience? So I know that's not true, and I know everyone's going to be different. I think there's 2 people in this hobby, or there's way more than that, but I think I fall on the side of I play the cult of the new. I try and play the newer games to feel attached to this hobby, I guess, to feel like I'm in the know. I try and play the new games, and I think that people will enjoy watching that more. I mean, we did just record a gameplay of Viticulture. Sorry, Jeff. So I don't know that that's entirely true, but I want to play new games to me because I still am fairly new to this hobby. So I want to play games that are new to me. Whether they're new to everyone or not, that's not the point. I want to play games that are new to me because I'm still learning and expanding my likes and my interests in this hobby. Viticulture, for example, and Architects of the West Kingdom, and Targi, for example, are games that I've played fairly recently, and I'm not a big worker placement person. I've loved each and every one of those experiences, and so it's showing me that I like worker placement more than I think I do. I mean, I don't have that many worker placement games, and I don't think there were many in my top 20. I don't want to say for certain. I know Targi was there, Obsession, you can kind of classify as a worker placement. So I mean, there were some there, but in general, that's not a genre that I really hover towards that much. Now I find myself liking them. So I understand that I'm trying to expand my interests and grow my likes so I don't come back to the same old staple games over and over again, but I wish I did at the same time. I do feel like I'm missing something by only scratching the surface of most of my games. I do feel like I'm missing something by not playing, you know, Gloomhaven with the same person over and over and over again, which I did with this game, but that's the only one I could say for certain so far. I do think that Doolin and I, and possibly Emily and Danielle, are going to try a legacy game sometime soon, whether that be Jaws of the Lion or whether that be the Clank Legacy. In fact, just a little shout out, we haven't made this super public yet. If you want to vote on which legacy game we play, there is a poll on our Patreon live right this moment where you can decide which legacy game we decide to play. Again, I won't touch too much on the Patreon right this moment. I will put a link in the description, but we actually just launched that over the weekend. We're going to talk about it more in the future. Just a little aside in case you're real eager and interested, and of course we would appreciate it. Anyways, where do you lie on this hobby? Are you someone like me who plays the newer stuff and really doesn't hit double digits on mini games at all? Or are you someone who revisits your favorites time and time and time again? I think a lot of it's group dependent too. I didn't even touch on that, but I think a lot of it's group dependent. If I had a group that consistently played Root, I'd consistently play Root. If I had a group for Cosmic Encounter, I'd play Cosmic Encounter. The reason that these three are on this list, to be fair, is Gloomhaven. I've played with Eric time and time and time again until we decided to quit for some reason. Azul, the group was my parents and my family, my wife. I've played Azul a dozen plus times at least with them because it's something that they desire to play back and back and back. So I think me personally, I like to explore new interests and really play what I think other people will enjoy. But I do think that I miss that aspect of Gloomhaven, and I miss playing some of these games. I want Spirit Island to hit double-digit plays. I want Awkward Guest to hit double-digit plays. I want Cthulhu Death May Die to hit 50 plays. I don't know. I have those desires, but at the same time, they're fighting against this instinct in me to move on and try the new things, to grow and expand my horizons and interests. I think I've probably rambled enough at this point in time, but I hope you understand a somewhat coherent point that I was attempting to make. And I'd love to hear down in the comments what you think you are. Like, are you someone like me? Or are you someone that digs really deep in a particular handful of games and has put 100 plus plays into innovation or something like that? I'd just like to hear your thoughts. I'm just curious. Thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you next time. We'll see you then.